panorama of sights and sounds. The Giants are in the field when my dad says, "Look, Bobby, look at the player standing way out there in center field. No, not that guy. The one in the middle. That's Willie Mays." It was as if he were pointing out the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building, as if he were saying, "Take note, son, that's Willie Mays. You won't forget the first time you saw him." More than 60 years later, it's still true. Decades later, Willie and I would become friends. I would interview him many times. He'd cheerfully acknowledge that he purposely chose a cap a half size too small so it would fly off as he sped around the bases or across the outfield. You have got to entertain the people. Willie is a natural storyteller, his high-pitched voice rising in volume as a favorite anecdote reaches its payoff. But all the natural enthusiasm, all the innate grace, shouldn't obscure the fact that Willie's baseball IQ was phenomenal. He routinely repositioned the fielders around him, and seldom, if ever, took his cue from the third base coach. His own sense of how a play would develop was all he needed. Tim McCarver once told me that in a meeting before any series with the Giants, Cardinals manager Johnny Keane would remind his team that with the exception of the ninth inning or extra innings, with Mays on base and trying to score on a base hit, never throw to the plate. Why? Because Mays was so smart, so aware, that he would purposely make the play appear close enough to draw the throw, but he would always be safe. Meanwhile, the trail runner, or runners, would take the extra base. In 2006 on HBO, I asked him about Game 7 of the 1962 World Series at Candlestick Park. Yankees won, Giants nothing. 2 out, bottom of the ninth. Matty Alou at first, Willie at the plate. He sent an opposite field double down the right field line. Roger Maris cut her off before the warning track, and Alou was stopped at third, after which Willie McCovey lined out to end the series. Willie's recollection of every part of the game was spot on, and here he grew emphatic. If I had been the runner instead of the hitter, there wouldn't have been a stop sign, and if there was, I'd have run through it. Either I score or I make them make a perfect play to get me. One of the best broadcasting experiences I've ever had came a few years later when Willie and Hank Aaron joined me for an hour-long conversation before a theater audience. The two greatest living players reveling in each other's company, the rivalry having mellowed into a deeper friendship and mutual appreciation. The stories overflowed, just as they do in this very welcoming book. Willie Mays has been the subject of multiple biographies, documentaries, and print and broadcast appreciations. But Willie and John Shea have found a fresh way in, and here's how. 24 chapters, each illuminating a chapter of Willie's remarkable career and life. Baseball history, the Giant-Dodger rivalry, through the eyes of those who lived it. Social history, Willie on his time in the Negro Leagues and his relationship with Barack Obama. Personal history, the influence of Willie's baseball-savvy dad. And new perspectives, including those of today's premier center fielder Mike Trout, born in 1991, but destined to be part of the same conversations as Willie for decades to come. Entire chapters are devoted to Willie's 4-homer game in Milwaukee and the 16-inning duel between Juan Marichal and Warren Spahn in 1963, scoreless until Willie homered off Spahn to win it. And of course, the 1954 back-to-the-plate World Series robbery of Vic Wertz, the most famous catch in baseball history. Even if, like me, you thought you had pretty much read and heard all there was to read and hear about Willie Mays, this warm-hearted book will inform and reward you. And besides, what true baseball fan can ever get enough of Willie Mays? Say hey, listen on, and enjoy.
Chapter 1. Set an Example. The Story of 24.
People judge you all kinds of ways. Let them say what they want. Be your own.